Welcome to Zeitgeist 3. Cue the spooky music, quote the hippies, show the hypnotic swirly colors that mean absolutely nothing unless you're stoned and paranoid. Okay, here's my thoughts on the Zeitgeist movie. If I were to summarize it in one sentence, it would be that it's basically a paranoid mixture of facts, misrepresentations, and flat-out bullshit, made so that the paranoid creators can call everyone but themselves and the conspirators stupid, and to convert everyone to New Age hippies by using false combinations and false connections of real facts to make everyone be afraid of every single popular non-hippie institution in the world. The video calls all people stupid and tells them to proverbially wake up numerous times. This is pure insanity. These people think they're smarter than everyone else just because they don't want to believe the reason most people disagree with them is because they are just as stupid but in a different way. If it's popular to believe something, they want you to think it's a lie. Why? Because their personal, spiritual, economic, and political beliefs are not popular in the country they live in, and they're too lazy to move, so they'd rather sit behind a computer, yes, like me, and manipulate the world, just like the conspirators they claim are out to take away our rights just for a laugh. Seriously. They actually say in the video that a small group of men, for generations, are planning to take over the world and put microchips in all of us just for personal amusement. And not only that, but it says we noticed the microchips being used in May 2008. What date is it now? It also assumes that Rudy Giuliani is going to win the election in November 2008. And who won that election? Heck, who won that primary? Shows how much these guys are on the ball. The video is not all bad. I commend Zeitgeist for exposing the likely history of organized religion. I agree that religion is bullshit, and it is used to manipulate people, but the video tries to convince everyone to become spiritualists as an alternative rather than being scientifically minded. Then it moves on to 9/11, putting the spotlight only on parts of information rather than complete information. They do this because they know if they hide part of the equation, the end result is a number they want you to believe is the answer. For instance, if I told you I turned a bucket of water upside down and the water stayed inside, I'd make you think I just disproved gravity. That gravity has been a lie the whole time as part of a conspiracy or something. Well, what happens to that conspiracy when I reveal that I neglected to mention that the water was frozen? Well, that's how these conspiracy nuts work. They put the spotlight only on the parts they want you to consider and hope you don't go looking at the rest of the information for yourself. In other words, 9/11 conspiracy theorists are part of a conspiracy. Here's how to prove the 9/11 conspiracy theories are bullshit. Part 1. The Pentagon. The suggestion that a 757 did not hit the Pentagon means two things. One is that the plane that was supposed to hit the Pentagon vanished from existence, along with the known family members who were aboard it. And second, it means the conspirators actually thought that the best option was to fire a missile over a highway full of rush hour drivers in broad daylight in hopes that none of the drivers would notice it wasn't an American Airlines jet, instead of simply crashing the real plane they had control of in the first place. Think about that. Does that make any sense? No, of course it doesn't. Now look at the so-called evidence they give you and ask yourself, does their evidence point to anything less absurd than what I just told you? Seriously. Part 2, the Twin Towers. First of all, the notion that the towers were demolished means you would have to believe that someone was able to get away with drilling explosives into all the walls of 220 floors of a privately guarded office structure that someone once attempted to blow up in 1993. For all their cherry-picked video clips, they seem to have left out one in particular that ruins their claims. I don't personally have access to the video, but you YouTube browsers can find it under the channel named RK Owens 4. All one word, it's RKOWENS 4. The video shows a close-up of the burning tower at the moment of collapse. What it shows is the collapse happens before, I repeat, before the dust comes out of the walls. You actually see the collapse first. Another thing they ignore is if you watch real demolitions with audio, you'll notice that the detonations make flashes and loud bangs that can be heard for miles away. Ever been to a fireworks show on the 4th of July and you had to cover your ears? That's what a controlled demolition sounds like. 9/11 did not make those sounds, and video proves it collapsed before there was dust. Therefore, there were no explosions. Part 3, Building 7. The chief of the New York Fire Department, Daniel Nigro, was the first person to predict that Building 7 was about to collapse. The news said this on live television before the collapse. If Building 7 were blown up, then anyone who said it was about to collapse would have to be a part of the conspiracy. So this means the conspiracy theorists think that the fire department was in on it. But wait, that can't be right, because the same conspiracy theorists are using stories told by firemen to support the conspiracy theory. So which is it? Firemen good or firemen bad? And if the firemen are bad, why are they bad? Another thing about Building 7 is that they say it wasn't hit by a plane. We know it wasn't hit by a plane. It was hit by the World Trade Center, for God's sakes. That's bigger than a plane, and planes aren't made of concrete and steel. They won't show you these photos, of course, they just claim they're fake. All this sounds insane, but that doesn't stop the conspiracy theorists from cherry-picking information for their agenda. Besides, if 9/11 were all faked just to convince us to invade Iraq, then why didn't the conspirators just blame Iraqis? They blamed Saudi Arabians who worked for Afghanis. Former President Bush's policies would have won in 2006 and 2008 if the government and the media would have just lied and told us we were attacked by Iraqis. You know why they didn't blame Iraq? Because 9/11 wasn't controlled by them. Conspiracy theorists cite Project Northwoods as a reason to suspect 9/11 was an inside job. There's a huge and simple difference between Northwoods and 9/11. Northwoods was a mere suggestion made by one guy in the Defense Department in 1960 to fake a small-scale attack on America that would only kill a small handful of people, and it would be blamed on the very country we planned to invade. The president thought it was insane, and the suggestion was never seriously considered. 9/11 was a large-scale attack and was never blamed on the country we ended up invading. These people want their cherry-picked evidence to make you believe that they can do all these powerful, nonsensical miracles, but can't plant WMDs on Saddam Hussein to maintain the popularity of the very war these conspiracy nuts claim to be the motive for the whole damn thing. Then on to the Federal Reserve. I find this part of the video interesting, but I take it with a grain of salt, especially since these guys totally blew their credibility with the 9/11 insanity. Okay, big whoop. This portion of the video is telling us something we already know, that the super rich can manipulate the world. Well, duh. We know the rich are screwing us over, but Zeitgeist goes overboard with anti-establishment paranoia and claims that certain things are going to happen that don't make sense. Are you or anyone out there wanting to get a chip implant of your own? I don't know anyone, do you? Have any of you seen these chips or special identity cards after May 2008 like they claim? No. These guys are nothing but conspirators who want to make you trust them by claiming they've exposed other conspiracies. Here's a final thought on conspiracy theories. Think about the history of conspiracy theories and actual conspiracies. There have been real conspiracies that have been exposed in the past, like Watergate, Gulf of Tonkin, and Northwoods, but virtually none of them were suspected by anyone before they were exposed. There are plenty of ongoing conspiracy theories like the moon landing, JFK, and 9/11 that have never been exposed, yet people never give up trying to convince you of them like it's a religion. Can you think of any one conspiracy that was both suspected for years and was exposed? Okay, well, you guys all think about that and have a nice day.